This is Tech Pulse, the show that keeps you in step with the technological world and one step ahead of everybody else. I'm your host, Hartley Reginald Smith II. Let's start the show.
Okay, and we're back for round two. For those of you that are joining us, this is Tech Pulse for May. Yeah, that's right, May 6th, 2013. This is the show where we bring you all the news and information about the technology world, so you can assimilate it and, so you can have it to go throughout your day. So we're going to start right now by giving you the stories that's coming up here on Tech Pulse. All right, so coming up on Tech Pulse today is Google serious about gaming. T-Mobile has a TV app now coming for the iPhone. T-Mobile X, the new name for the Xbox, has been leaked. Also, Staple announces the first 3D printer available online, and who picks up MyOccasionsLive. All of this and more today on Pulse. All right, so let's go right into our first story that we're talking about, and that is Google serious about games? Now we all know that Google and Android with their platform have been doing this whole oh yeah and game stick thing. Not that Google is a part of it, but the oh yeah and the game stick use the Android operating system as their base. So in a minor way, Google is involved in gaming. However, it looks like Google, and the Google Play Store has a number of apps that obviously are game related, but Google themselves never came out with anything themselves, a game product or anything, but a story that came out over the weekend from TechCrunch has something a little different to say. They seem to have hired Noah Feilstein as chief game designer. So let's get right into that story. Now, this has been somewhat under the radar, but Google hired this veteran of the gaming industry. Many of you don't know, but this guy is a veteran. Noah Feilstein is a veteran in the gaming industry, and Google hired him as chief game designer. Yes, I mean, the search giant, not normally known for games, seems to have been putting together a major gaming project in circulation, at least something that requires someone as experienced as Feilstein at the helm. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with who Feilstein is, according to his Feilstein's bio, and for those of you that are into games, you know that he's been in the computer gaming industry since 1980, spanning companies such as LucasArts, 3DO, for those of you that remember the 3DO, LucasArts 3DO, DreamWorks Interactive, and is the game designer behind a number of hit titles. Most recently, he ran his own consultancy agency, which offered companies help on game design and development and business and stuff like that, as well as being a regular on the lecture and speaking circuit. Ever influential. And so perhaps not so surprising that Google would, they would hire this guy. Now, if we look at his LinkedIn profile, his new title is Chief Game Designer. Chief Game Designer, at Google. And he's joining sometime in April 2013. In April 2013, he will be joining the Google staff. Now, note further details has been provided about his role, but the mere fact that Google went out and hired a man of his experience to head what they say is their gaming department now makes me not necessarily wonder, but it makes me stop and think that this guy is this guy is actually going to bring gaming to Google. You know, and I mean, Google, as you know, have their hands in so many different pots, so many different things Google has a hand in. And so when I look at the fact that this guy, Noah Feilstein, was hired as their chief game designer, you know, it's like, man, you know, is there anything that Google is not going to be a part of? You know, is there anything Google is not a part of? And it just looks like Google once again is getting into that, into that pot. They're getting into that market that we just have to stand back and see what Google has in mind. I mean, Google definitely has the money, you know, to experiment in this area. But I mean, hiring a chief game designer, I don't know. You know, does this mean that Google is gonna eventually think about coming out with a system? You know, is Google actually going to go that far? Does this mean that Google is going to come out with their own games for consoles like Xbox, like the new PlayStation 4 for Nintendo Wii U? I mean, is Google going to go that far? Right now, they don't have a team assembled, but he's going to be their chief game designer. So he's going to be head of that department, and he's only coming on in April. So I don't expect to see anything from Google as far as games anytime soon, because they're just putting together this team right now. But I mean, Google getting into the gaming industry after hiring this guy, and it was going around a little bit that Google was thinking about, you know, really getting themselves into the gaming world. But this really confirms it. They went out and hired this guy who has been in the gaming industry, for over 20 years. You know, so they didn't just get a guy like a young programmer or something like that. They got a veteran. The guy worked, as I already said, the guy works at LucasArts, 3DO. Now, for those of you who don't know the 3DO is a machine that came out back in the 90s, and it was one of the first. Matter of fact, it was the 3DO, and another system came out by Panasonic called the CDI. But 3DO came out, not Panasonic, Philips came out with the CDI, and Panasonic came out with the 3DO. The 3DO was the first home all-in-one console type box back in the day. It didn't play DVDs back then, but it played CDs. It played CD plus image CDs, photo CDs. It also played music. It also played your video games and stuff like that. It was touted as a set-top box for the home. Not a set-top box, but an all-in-one box, an entertainment system for the home, because it played your CDs through your home theater system. It played photo CDs, you know, and of course it played games, you know, and it had limited amount of memory and stuff like that. So this was the first type of all-in-one box. Kind of expensive. It came out like at $700 or something like that. And he was a part of that. And many people thought 3DO had really good graphics. Really good graphics. It was a good machine, just too expensive at the time for consumers. So this guy comes from 3DO, DreamWorks Interactive. You know, he has major hit titles under his belt. This looks like something that Google really is going after, and we're going to have to see how much stock Google is willing to put in Noah Feilstein, you know, to see if he's really going to, if he's really going to make inroads in this situation. Now, were Google to be working on a new game or games led by Feilstein, it wouldn't be an entirely new avenue, because it already has a mysterious, what they call Niantic Labs, maker of Ingress, a real-time augmented reality MMO for Android. So Google already has something that, you know, they don't necessarily have a gaming department necessarily, but they do have the and that's why it says the mysterious, Niantic Labs. It's called Niantic, Niantic Labs, that they have that they never really talk too much about. It wasn't really something that many people know about as far as a Google subsidiary, but they have that, and they have that acquired, and they made a real-time augmented reality MMO, and so perhaps there may be a connection there between those people that they have in Niantic Labs and the hiring of Filestein. Maybe they're going to merge the two, or maybe a similar concept but is going to happen, but maybe they're going to do something with Google Glass or something like that. We don't know. I mean, if we were to zoom out further and think a bit more laterally, a major interest of Filestein is in the field of what he calls serious games, which he defines as using games and game technology or the game industry techniques for a purpose other than pure entertainment. Now that's Filestein's thought process. He believes that gaming have applications, the gaming technology, games themselves have a purpose beyond just pure entertainment. The list of serious game projects Filestein has been involved in spans anything from using game techniques to improve health and education to financial projections. In other words, pretty high, high level stuff. So if maybe Google is going to go that route, maybe they're not hiring him as far as for games. We don't know. Google hasn't announced anything as to what exactly. They said he's heading up this game department that they're starting, but they haven't really said anything as far as exactly what they're going to be producing in this department that they have created. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. And if maybe Google is gonna go more of the serious route, with education, with health related situations. Maybe they'll go more entertainment, or maybe it'll be a hybrid of the two. But for right now, we have to just we just have to know that Google are they serious about games? I don't know. But the one thing we do know is that Google is not they're not shy about putting their hat in the ring when it comes to any kind of technology, anything that Google can make inroads in or make money with. They're not shy about putting their hat in the ring. So we just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see if this is something that's going to stick. We already know that the Android platform is being used in 2 gaming consoles coming out this year. But does that mean that Google is looking at that and saying, man, we need to have our own gaming system, because Google is all about they're all about doing things to where they don't have to depend on other people. I mean, will we see Google getting into the TV entertainment business too? They already have YouTube, and they already have YouTube stars and stuff like that. But I mean, will Google start, streaming network TV programs is what I'm talking about. I mean, Google is one of those companies that has their hand in everything. So you can't put anything by them. You just have to wait and see, take these stories as what they are, and we're gonna see what happens down the road. If Google is really going to be a part of this industry. Now, we're looking at, speaking of Google, not speaking of Google, but I mean companies that relate to Google, such as Facebook, Instagram, according to a report, has they've launched a new feature called photo tagging for the iPhone and for the Android platform devices. Now, sorry. Now, this photo sharing, it allows you. Well, okay. Let me just tell you a little bit about the app before I get into it, because launching photo tagging feature on the iPhone and Android might be something. And there's a video to show you, exactly, how it's supposed to work. But we know that Instagram was one of Facebook's, biggest acquisitions. And the invention of the photo tag, which made it simple for anyone to browse photos, not browse photos. You know, Frodo would obviously be Lord of the Rings, but we're not talking about that here. To browse photos, you know, that was tagged to their friends or stuff like that. No matter which friend uploaded each photo, you can tag it to a friend. And today, Instagram is following suit with the launch of Photos of You, the new feature for photo tagging. A new profile section that includes every photo friends have tagged with your username. That's right. This feature is rolling out as a part of Instagram 3.5 for both iPhone and Android. Now, what will this feature do? Well, we're going to see right now in this in this shot that we're going to show you. We're going to see right now. So one of the most common things things that people do in Instagram is mention their friends. You know what I'm saying? When they want to add them to a photo. This is what Instagram is saying. And the Photos of You plans to address that. Once you've taken a photo, a new button lets you tag people and places. Like your friend or a slice of Joe's Pizza or something like that. As you browse your feed, you tap a photo once and you tap the photo, and once the tag pops up, which hovers over people and places much as they do on Facebook. And so up to this point, tagging a friend generated a story in the Friends News tab, but nothing more. Now tags are aggregated by user and push notifications are sent to each person who has been tagged. So let me just go ahead and show you a working video of this situation. You can see if this is something that you want. You know, when you update Instagram to the new Instagram 3.5, is this something that people are going to want to do? I mean, you know, it's just an update. You know, how many of you use photo tagging out there? So we're gonna see. Whoa, okay, there we go. Now let's watch this right here. Let's watch this video real quick on the photo tagging situation. All right, I'm setting it up right now. Let's make it a little big. Okay, good. Yep, right there. Final check sound. All right, there we go. This is how it's supposed to work. Have it, Photos of You by Instagram, the new photo sharing update to their photo tagging system that they have there at Instagram. So, you know, like I said, you know, this is something that, according to Instagram, people always mention their friends when they want to add them to a photo. And Photos of You is going to address that. Once you, like I said, you take that photo, a new button lets you tag people and places, just like you saw there. So this is just a new service coming out by Instagram, you know. And, you know, I mean, from what I see, that Facebook, you know, saying really, they acquire these companies to keep themselves on that cutting edge of social media. And this is something that's only going to help them to be able to stay on that cutting edge of social media. So we have to see if Facebook, if Instagram is really going to be able to push this. Because, I mean, one of the things that I've noticed, you know, is a lot of people they're comfortable with what they have. They're comfortable with how things work, and that doesn't mean that this is not going to take off, and this is not going to be something that people are going to use. However, we just have to wait and see if this is something that people are going to just naturally pick up and use. Now, the Android, the Android and Apple version, both of them are going to be released at the same time. So there's not going to be a lag between the two in terms of, you have the Android version and weeks later you're going to have the iPad or iOS version. So this is going to be, and if you guys are using it out there, use it. Let us know, what you think. Let us know if you think this is something that that's going to be useful for those of you who like to photo tag your friends and now have photos of you and stuff like that. If that's something that's going to be interesting to the mass of people out there. Now, here's a story that we knew was coming. This is something that we knew was going to come sooner or later. Now, you've heard us here talk about 3D printing a lot here on Tech Pulse, bringing people up to date with the fact that 3D printing is out there. And right away, not right away, you really don't want to say right away, because, I mean, it's not as if this wasn't something that was expected, but a report has come out now saying that the first 3D gun has been printed. All plastic material and everything like that, but the first 3D gun has been printed. According to a report by Forbes magazine, the first 3D gun and the photos. Now see, here's where this really becomes funny, or not funny, but it becomes interesting, because when you look at the photos of this 3D gun that was printed, it doesn't even look like a real gun. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even look like a real gun, and it looks more like a toy, that a child would have or something like that. But it's a real working gun that people can fire and everything like that. And I think it was sometime last week, a 25-year-old University of Texas law student, founder of the nonprofit group Defense Distribution, plans to release these CAD files of his 3D gun that he printed. He plans to release them over the internet so other people can have these designs. Now, he calls the gun the Liberator, and he has agreed to let Forbes magazine document the process of the gun's creation, so long as they don't publish the details of its mechanics or the testing until it's been proven to work reliably and stuff like that. But all 16 pieces of the Liberator, that's the gun prototype, were printed using ABS plastics with Dimension SST, with a Dimension SST printer from 3D printing company Strata Systems, with the exception of a single nail that is used in the firing pin, because there has to be, by gun regulation laws, there has to be some metal in the gun so that it can be picked up by metal detectors. The gun design is designed to fire standard handgun rounds using interchangeable barrels for different caliber of ammunition. Technically, the Defense Distribution gun has one other non-printed component. The group added a 6-ounce chunk of steel into the body, also to make it detectable by metal detectors, according to the the Undetectable Firearms Act in March. The group also obtained federal firearms license, making it legal for them to manufacture this gun. And of course, DefCAD's user may not adhere to so many rules once the file is online, and that's where the problem comes in. Now, let me show you a picture of this 3D printed gun, because like I say, it doesn't even look real, really. Like when you look at it, you say, this thing can't fire. What are you talking about? There's no firing in this thing, but it actually is. This gun is a real gun that can fire. So let me go ahead and bring this thing up for you. Yes, there we go. I'm gonna bring up the picture so you can see the gun. That was printed. Now all it was assembled, but all the parts were printed in a 3D printer. All the parts were printed in a 3D printer. So this opens up a whole new era of gun control. You know, when people can just, and he's gonna release these files. Here's the gun right there. There's the gun that has been printed. Now you look at that, you say that thing, and that to me, that's where the problem comes in, because now that looks like a toy, like a water gun or something like that. But that, as you see right here in the corner, if you can see this right here in the corner, right here, this is the bullet. That's the bullet that loads into the chamber of this gun, and it has been tested and it works. This gun works, and now this is the first gun that was printed by a printer. He's going to release these files, this information, the information you need to put into a 3D printer so your printer can print guns. He's going to release that thing online. Now, Devin, do you think that this is because you said it before? You said that there's going to be somebody who is looking to how they can use this system to get over on people. They're not going to use it responsibly. And here, this guy, he not only printed a real gun, this because it looks toyish, but this gun is a real working gun made out of an entire plastic, except for the metal pin that they have in the firing chamber, and then the steel bearing they put in the body of it so it can be detectable when you go through a metal detector. But I mean, is this what we would have thought? Like, I mean, is this the worry now we see coming from 3D printing? I mean, now you can print. There's no more need. I mean, you still have to have a license. I get that, to own a gun. But now I don't necessarily have to buy it from a pawn shop, from a licensed gun handler or whatnot. I can just print this stuff online. And to say that the government will regulate the files, you can't. It's illegal to download. You know, I mean, that's a tough thing to regulate. It's like child pornography. I mean, it's illegal to download child pornography, but at the same time, does the government catch everyone that's downloaded? No, of course not. They don't catch everyone. It's only when the person slips up or the person does something in public, then when they go backtrack, they go, oh yes, you know, this guy, you know, he was a child pornographer. How do you think this is going to play out? Now that this gun has been released as the first 3D printed gun, then do you think this is, I mean, what do you think about that? Is this cause for concern as far as 3D printing is concerned?
Yeah, it is, but I don't know how the government or anybody can regulate it. This is, once people are able to buy these machines, you know, maybe they'll put some kind of encryption in there that says anything shaped like a gun can't be printed. I don't know. I really have no clue how it's going to evolve. And
Right.
that's why, you know, when we talk about regulations, we must not try. I'm a proponent of, you know, letting people do what they do.
Right.
You do what you do,
Right.
and the rest will take care of itself. Because how are you going to regulate this stuff?
And that's
How are you
the
going to
thing.
keep control of this stuff?
And now that you can print it in the comfort of your home,
Yeah.
you don't have to go anywhere.
You can plan to shoot somebody and execute. Get your gun, get whatever you need.
Get all the
you know?
parts.
Yeah.
You know, now it didn't print out the gun made. It printed out the parts, and the guy assembled it
Right.
into that what you see right there.
Right.
But I mean, that's just as good if you know how to. I mean, you're a man who had a gun back when you were in New York and so forth, and you know that the gun comes apart
Right.
and you can put it together. If you
Right.
know what you're doing, if you don't know what you're doing, then
Keep that on the DL. All right. Yeah, but yeah, you're right.
So I mean, but is this what we were thinking when we thought 3D printers were going to change the world? Not when we thought, like it didn't happen, but I mean, you know, in our thinking of 3D printers, is this what you were talking about when you know there's going to be some joker
Exactly.
that's going to, you know, try to see how they can, you know, get over with this system and not try to use it, you know?
Exactly.
Now, this guy hasn't done anything wrong. He got the license and everything to print the to own the parts and to print it. He did everything legally. But the point is, right away you see that this just opens up the door to things that are going to be, you know, that people are going to use this thing illegally. You know, so I don't know how governments are going to to regulate this. I don't know how the government is gonna, because you might say, well, you know, getting handguns is easy today. Yeah, okay, that might be so, but it's even more easier now. And then they put a steel ball in the gun to comply, because this guy is trying to comply with the law. If I'm a criminal, I'm not putting that steel bearing in, so this thing will not be detectable. So now you're gonna have guns out there that's not detectable by metal detectors, because people aren't going to, the criminals aren't going to say, oh, well, I got to adhere to the Undetectable Guns Act, you know, that came out. Oh, man, I was about to rob rob the airport, but oh, shucks, I guess I can't do it now. Nobody's going to do that. You know, that's like having a convertible, leaving the top down, but locking your doors. You know, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. If a convertible, the top is down, you're going to lock the door. Oh, so the crook is going to walk into your car and go, oh, man, door is locked. There's no way for me to get in now. No, they're going to just jump in. They probably wouldn't even worry about the locks. My point is that this opens up a whole new world. The things we were looking at, we were talking about, is the medical implications of 3D printing, printing out bone, printing jaws and things like that, printing tools for your house, so like whether it be a wrench or a pan or a pot, all type of different things that you can print with this, vases, cups, you know, whatever, all type of different designs. You can print 3D art, you know, and stuff with this. The things that we were talking about, you know, just harmless things like that. But now, when we see something like this come out, you know, this is really next level stuff, and it's going to be an interesting thing to see how I don't even want to say the government, but how people are going to adhere to this system, how they're going to use it now, knowing that this can be used to print literally anything, which is what we were saying before. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around the fact of being able to print actual 3D models of stuff, whether it be, you know, a gun, or whether it be a pot, a vase, or whatever it is. You know, being able to print these things, you know, has become a reality. And on the heels of that, Staples has just announced, according to a report by Engadget, Staples has just announced that they're selling a 3D Systems Cube printer online, select retail availability starting in June. So starting next month, you're going to be able to go to Staples online, and you're going to be able to purchase the first 3D consumer printer. Now, according to a report by Engadget, Staples is pushing its consumer printing offerings into the third dimension, with the office supply chain has begun selling 3D Systems Cube printer through its site. As of Friday, they began, you know, selling this thing in terms of pre-orders. Coming the end of June, you will have Wi-Fi enabled semi-portable printer will be hitting a select number of retail stores for the low price of only $1,300. The Cube's availability follows news of some higher-end 3D printing offerings at a very select number of Staples locations. So you have to check and see if that's in your area or something like that. I'll check the local Staples in your area and see if they're offering that. And you can choose and pick a print in one of 5 colors. And if you need some enthusiastic testimonies regarding the revolutionary nature of consumer 3D printing, there's a lot of that online. If you need some convincing as to how this thing looks. And let me show you a picture of the actual printer that's going to be coming out. But we are Staples. This technology is closer than we think. You know, we've been talking about this for a good while here on Tech Pulse. But just the mere fact that this printer will be coming out at Staples for $1,300, to me, that's just incredible. You know, and so it just shows you that on the heels of what we're talking about now with 3D printing, what we're talking about, this guy, he came out with, he printed all the parts of the gun and whatnot, and now we see in this picture, you can't really get a good shot of it. But that's the 3D printer right there. Let's go down. This is it right here. This is just some of the stuff that they printed right here. You know, this right here or this. You know, nothing practical they printed, but they're just showing you. And this blue thing in the back. Oh, sorry. This blue thing here in the back. This is the actual printer. That's the actual printer, and that's the materials reel right there that they have. You know, so being able to actually print 3D objects. Now, right there, those aren't really things that you're going to use, but being able to print things, parts like this gun and stuff like that on 3D printers, and now 3D printers are actually available. When we were talking about it, it's still, they were saying by 2016, 3D printers will probably drop below $1,000 and stuff like that. It's still 2013, and we have the first 3D printer being available at Staples starting in June. And they're even right now you can get some information online about these 3D printers. Sorry, about these 3D printers. So I mean, this is, to me, this is definitely something that we have to keep our eyes on and see exactly how the consumers. Now, right now, $1,300 is still a lot of money. So I mean, by any standard. So I don't think the consumers are going to rush right out and get this yet, but we have to wait and see if there's going to be a demand for something like this, which I think there is, with the implications that 3D printing has. I mean, there is going to be a demand for something like this. And here's another picture of something that was printed. Nothing really useful yet. But starting at $13.99, this thing is I mean, let me show you this other printer. You can print all like gadgets, toys, novelties, all kind of different things you can print with 3D printers. And as we saw, printing that gun is just one of the things that you can print. Here's another item. Oh no, the printer and then an item. That's right there that you can get you know, at Staples right now. Okay, here we go. Whoa. All right, there we go. Let me just move this over so you can see it. But this is crazy right here. You know, the fact that 3D printing has come out right now and is in people's, can be in people's homes so soon is something that, you know, I mean, I didn't think would happen so quickly. To be honest, I didn't think 3D printing, this technology, would come out so soon as it's come out. Now, this is something right here that was printed right from this printer. It came out just looking just like this. Now, like I say, this is not something that's practical that anybody actually might want, but you can print out practical objects. They're just showing you the artistic nature. You can print art. You can print art that you can display in your homes with a 3D printer. Any design you can come up with. That's the thing about it. It's not just you have to print art that someone else has. You can create your own art, your own concepts, and put it into this 3D printer and print it out. So it's cool, but at the same time, with this being able to print weapons and stuff like that, especially guns that's undetectable, whew, that's going to be something else. So it just makes the job of the FBI and places like that, it just makes their job that much harder. So, you know, we have to wait and see what happens with this, and definitely we at Tech Pulse are going to keep you up to date on what's going on. So let's head into a bit of gaming news. Now, one of the big news coming out as far as gaming is that there has been a rumored leak. Now, when we say rumored leak, you know, we've been looking for, you know, any information we can get here on Tech Pulse, any information we can get. We've been looking and scouring, trying to find any information on the new Xbox coming out, you know, and just, you know, information is just not there. It's just scarce. And now we're finding out that there has been a leak of the name of the next Xbox, basically because of the new game that's supposed to be coming out with it, Sonic. Given that Microsoft has confirmed that they will reveal the next Xbox brand on May 21st, it only seems natural, you know, that rumors are going to start churning and crunching around. And the latest rumor, this is a substantial one because it looks like it was an accidental leak, and we'll explain what we mean by that. A user on the NeoGAF forums recently posted alleged information on an upcoming game titled Sonic Excursion. That's a new game coming out for the new 360, with the kicker being the system listed. The game is supposedly being released, and this is what the Sega released. They say the game is being released for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii U, PC, 3DS, PlayStation 4, and most importantly, they said Xbox Infinite. That's what they said, Xbox Infinite. A supposed logo for the new console has surfaced, and we'll show you that logo as well. So now, obviously, these are just rumors. We don't know necessarily if this is true, but we're trying to keep you up to date on everything going on. So we have to definitely take this with a grain of salt. But and we have to understand that even the game Sonic Excursion may not even be in existence. But it is interesting that if this is the name that the new system is going to have, I mean, because we've heard a lot of things, the 720, we've heard the Durango, we've heard all kind of different things. So Xbox Infinite, at least to me, looks better than, sounds better at least than, a lot of these 720, Durango, stuff like that. It sounds a little more, it sounds cooler, if you will. So we have to wait until, obviously, the 21st of this month. That's when Microsoft say they're going to release their information, and this is the logo right here, Xbox Infinite. That's floated around along with this name. That's rumored to be how Microsoft is going to advertise their new system. Now, like I say, these are all rumors, so we don't know. There's no confirmation that this is real, but anything that we can find out to keep the gaming fans up to date on what's happening as far as the gaming world is concerned, definitely is what we want to do here on Tech Pulse. Keep you knowing what's coming around the corner, not just giving you things only as it happens, but we bring you the rumors as well. So if you hear it, whether it's a rumor, someone says, oh man, it's going to be this, you can say, nah, that's just a rumor. That's just a rumor. You don't know what you're talking about because it's not been confirmed yet. So we have to wait and see. Again, we have to wait and see if this is something that is actually going to be the name of the new system from Microsoft. And hey, I mean, me personally, I like the name Infinite, and if this image, and this is another rumored leak of the image of the machine that we're going to show you, but I mean, it doesn't mean this is how the machine is going to look. But, a lot of rumors are coming up. The closer we get, the more the rumors are going to be. And, Xbox Infinite, and then also they had another name called the Xbox Fusion. That was another name that was leaked around. But, obviously Infinite to me sounds better. It sounds like a better name. A better name than some of the other ones. So we're going to see if Sega, if this was really a real leak, we're going to know because the 21st is coming up sooner or later. So we're going to see if this, and we're going to show you here real quick before we move on to our next story. We're going to show you a picture that's also leaked to be the official image of the new Xbox system. But again, like we said, this is just rumors. So rumor right now, Xbox Infinite, and you saw the logo. Now here's the system. There's a system right there, looking sleek. Just a standard black system right here. Xbox start button. And then you see all the way there. Let me see if I can blow up the image. You see right there, the Xbox logo is over here in the corner. So, and it looks like a set-top box. It does look like a set-top box, something you put in your living room and stuff like that. So we just got to wait and see. All of this right now is rumor. None of this is confirmed. None of this is something that you can guarantee and say that this is what it's going to be. So let's move on to other gaming news. Now, in gaming, another gaming news, we have that the creators of what's the game name? The creators of sorry, the creators of man, Assassin's Creed. Whew. Man, it's like, man, I couldn't remember the name of that. The creators of Assassin's Creed have defended their, they released a statement really defending their yearly release. Ubisoft, they're defending their yearly release of Assassin's Creed. They're just saying that the game is continuing to be fresh. There's a lot of things that are not, that they haven't covered in Assassin's Creed that they would like to cover. And now you might say, why are they defending their yearly release of Assassin's Creed? And I'll tell you why. Because one of the problems we have in the gaming world is games becoming stale, games becoming redundant. You know, and we see this a lot in sequels. You know, a lot of time when a company doesn't really have anything new to put out, they just come out with a sequel for a game, a franchise, which is Assassin's Creed. They come out with a game for a franchise, but what ends up happening is there's no real innovation. There's no real newness when you play the game. It just feels like this is the same game with updated graphics or updated play mechanics, but the same style of story. You know, and it's tough, especially for us gamers. You know, when we see a series keep cranking out games, cranking out, but with no real innovation. And what they try and do a lot of times when they crank out these games is they make it longer, you know, and they make the storyline longer, and they think that length of game produces value. And that's not the case. Length of game does not produce value. Length of game, if the game is not created well, just produces boredom. You need to have a game that's going to appeal to the masses. And although Assassin's Creed is a very popular game, just like the Halo franchise, very popular, but it's tough for these developers to keep it fresh. And that's why Ubisoft came under fire when reporters asked them, hey, why are you coming out with an Assassin's Creed every year? You know, normally with games like this, you would have like 1 or 2 Assassin's Creed per console. In other words, we already had 2 Assassin's Creed for this generation of consoles. That should be it. No more Assassin's Creed until the next console, because now we're going to get to see a big jump in graphics. We're going to get to see a big jump in playability, because what you can do with this new system is going to be different than what you could do in past systems. But they're making this into a yearly thing, just like Halo was for a while, just like Gears of War. And matter of fact, Gears of War and Halo started to be on an alternating cycle. One year you would have Halo, the next year you would have Gears of War, the next year another Halo, the next year another Gears of War. That they were on an alternating cycle, and some people are concerned that this could lead to franchise fatigue. You know, and I agree with it, because when you keep coming out with these games on a yearly basis without giving the story enough time to marinate, giving the story enough time to mature, sometimes, you know, this stuff comes back to haunt you. And when the people at Geeky Gadgets talked to the official Xbox magazine, Ubisoft's creative director Gene Gudison said that the franchise still has a long way to go, and that the developers still have a ton, is what he said, a ton of fresh and different ideas to keep the game interesting. So all we can say is that we hope that he has a ton of fresh ideas, because a lot of times they say that, but they don't really have it. You know, I think that, and this is what he said, that we have proven that this franchise is relevant and that it has a long way to go. Our job as developers of this new opus is to surprise players and bring fresh, different ideas, while at the same time assuring that what makes Assassin's Creed such a standout remains intact. You know, and with the scale and scope of the world that they're building, they're saying the completely new setting and the new gameplay mechanics are new characters, both our hero and his supporting cast. They're saying we definitely are on track to get the job done and avoid franchise fatigue altogether. Now they're talking completely new setting, completely new game mechanics. See, when a company starts saying that, that worries me. You know why? Because that's the same thing they said with Tomb Raider. When Tomb Raider reached the end of its life cycle on the PlayStation as far as innovation, because they came out with Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, they all had the same. Initially, Tomb Raider was cool because we hadn't seen anything like that. After a while, the play mechanics, that grid style walking, where she take a step and you can tell it's a grid, that the program was programmed in a grid style movement, it started to get old. Because as you had to jump from one cliff to the next, that grid style just didn't work because you had to back up just right in order to get her foot planted right where you wanted to, and it turned many gamers off. And each time they said, oh, we're coming out with brand new play mechanics, we're coming out with a brand new storyline. They promised all of these things, and when the game came out, crap. Total and utter garbage. When the game finally hit store shelves. Same play mechanics. As a matter of fact, they claim to have tweaked it, and sometimes they made it worse. You see? So I don't know if this yearly update of Assassin's Creed that they're doing is such a good idea, in my opinion. Even though Ubisoft or Ubisoft, whoever, however you want to call them, even though they are defending their position and saying they have a ton, according to the guy, a ton of fresh new ideas, and they're putting in new play mechanics. When a company starts saying that, they're going to put in some new play mechanics. They're going to put in a new setting. They're even changing the lead characters are going to have new supporting cast and all this stuff. I don't know, man. It makes me nervous because I hate to see a franchise like Assassin's Creed and like so many of the other franchises that were good, top-notch franchises. They just go down like Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was a good franchise, and because they just kept trying to milk that cash cow, it just deteriorated to where Tomb Raider became a laughingstock. Nobody cared about Tomb Raider after a while, And so if they're going to, now I have to admit, the last iteration of Assassin's Creed last year, that new level that they put where you're on a ship and you were on the open water with the waves, I mean, that was genius. That to me right there is what kept that franchise alive. If they're going to do stuff like that, then then they're on the right track. But how much more environments? I mean, you already been playing in snow and stuff like that. The sea element to it, riding a ship was cool. Being able to fire your ship like the old pirates did back in the days. You have to pull alongside the ship and then you unleash your cannons. They're doing the same thing, and it's who can outsail the other to sink the other one faster while the waves are going. I mean, that was top notch. You know what I'm saying? But if they already did that, I don't know if Assassin's Creed has enough newness. If there's enough newness in that story to be able to bring one out every year. I don't know. That's what they're saying, but I'm in doubt to see that they're going to be able to keep this up every year. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we're going to have to see. I'm not saying it can't be done. But what I'm saying is for them to really be able to get this thing going to every year is not going to be something that is easy. Not by a long shot. And although he sounds confident, I'm going to wait to see at E3. Because they're going to release a thing of this at E3. I'm going to wait to see on reserve judgment for E3. And hey, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Let me put it that way. If what I see at E3 is a new, fresh take on Assassin's Creed, I will be pleasantly surprised, and I'll be able to say, okay, these guys proved me wrong. I prefer to be pleasantly surprised, than to be disappointed. Because this is not anything new that game developers have promised. Nothing new as far as we have a brand new engine, we have brand new gameplay, the play mechanics has completely been overhauled, the graphics have been over. They say that all the time, and when the game comes out, it looks worse than it did before. So let's wait to see if this thing is actually real. Now, for those of you that have remembered Road Rash back in the days, Road Rash, there is a new game on Kickstarter, Road Redemption. It's a Kickstarter game, and they add the Oculus Rift to their goals as far as being able to release this game out on it. But for right now, This game is, so, remember, we tried to bring you stuff that you can be a part of. Right now, this game is going to be on the PC, 360, and the Wii U. So we're going to show you a sample of this, but it resembles the old style Road Rash. For those of you that remember Road Rash, this was a game by EA. You had Road Rash and you also had Need for Speed. Those were the two games that EA made back in the day. That was, these were pretty good. The basic premise of the game back in the day was you rode a bike and it was a race. You race from the beginning to the end, but on the way, you would have to beat other bikers. And you do that by, you could kick them off their bike or you could knock them over the head, and stuff like that. So this new game, Road Redemption, is currently a Kickstarter. If you're looking to get behind the game and you remember the old Road Rash days, and you want to be behind the game, you might want to go to Kickstarter and support this title by Dark Seas Games. It's Road Rash style with next gen graphics, they say, physics, together with online play. So now with 9 days, it was 9 days when this story came out. So we're talking about 6 days left to go on the developers. Developers have added a couple of Oculus Rift stretch goals, that they're trying to get this game on to help raise the final $60,000 they say they need to put the game in production. So you can watch. We're gonna watch their promotional trailer as well as the actual gameplay for this. Now, the Oculus Rift, if you remember, is a virtual reality headset that brings a person into the room, into the environment. Remember, we said there's two forms of reality. There's virtual reality and then there's augmented reality. Those are where games are going right now. Virtual reality, just to clarify again, virtual reality is when you are put into an artificial surrounding, an artificial world. That's why they call it virtual. It's you place yourself into an artificial surrounding. Whereas augmented reality uses uses the real environment around you and augments it. In other words, so whereas virtual reality, you go into a room that doesn't exist. The room exists only in computer generation. In augmented reality, it takes your natural physical surroundings and it distorts it. It augments it so that it looks like you're a part of the game. These two technologies are being exploited. The virtual reality is the Oculus Rift, and the augmented reality is what Xbox is coming out with their Illuma Room that we reported on last week. Now, obviously, Oculus Rift support involves far more than the simple setup. For instance, they say they have to make sure it works with all the GUIs and to do extensive reworking of the combat controls, not to mention excessive attention with the single and multiplayer aspects, because you have to be able to, with the Oculus Rift, when you move your hand left or right or up or down, it has to do it in the game. Now, I don't know how they're going to adjust it to where you can actually ride. Maybe they'll have like some kind of bicycle situation, or maybe you have to sit a certain way. I don't know how they're going to do it so it works flawlessly. But that's some of the things that they're doing. So let's go ahead and look at the promotional video by the Road Redemption team, the people at Dark Seas Games. Let's go ahead and look at that real quick, because this is going to be, hey, I liked the Road Rash back in the days, and if they can really not just rehash it, you see, and that again, these are some of the problems I have with franchises that either the franchise is too much, like in Assassin's Creed, where they feel they're trying to come up with one every year, or an old franchise that they're trying to bring back, but they don't. They either bring it back, it's the same graphics, same exact gameplay, nothing new to make me say, oh yeah, the Road Rash is fresh and new again. They call it Road Redemption, but you can see right away from the pictures, it has a Road Rash style to it. For those of you that remember Road Rash, those of you older gamers out there, there you go right there. Bike 1, Bike 2. You know what I'm saying? Right there. Let's go ahead. Yeah. See, Bike 1 right here, Bike 2. You're riding down, and then you have to beat the other person to get around them sometimes. So this is the official trailer right here. not trailer, the promotional video. So let's go ahead and watch this here by the people at Dark Seas Entertainment. Final checks with the sound. Yeah. There you go. That was Road Rash.
The goal with Road Redemption is to make our dream game. The game we want to play right now but doesn't exist.
The Road Rash style of game has disappeared. We want to bring it back.
There's so much you can do in today's physics, more realistic crashes, destructible environments, online multiplayer.
The multiplayer mode in Road Redemption goes beyond split screen. You and your friends will be able to form a gang and then fight against others online.
We really hope to foster a community of players that will play constantly against each other.
The levels we're building in Road Redemption are going to take you from desert roads to congested cities, and even to chase missions from rooftop to rooftop.
You can face off with other bikers using chains, bats, pipes, rifles, Tech 9s, Uzis, and more. Of course, kicking your opponent into an oncoming vehicle can be just as effective.
So Road Redemption not only combines combat with racing elements, it also wraps all of this in a larger story based on the roles of real-life biker gangs.
You play a new recruit to a motorcycle club, fighting your way up the ranks. Eventually, you can lead your gang and fight to control drug distribution routes across the Midwest.
This is the kind of game that no one's made in over a decade, on any platform.
Members of the Road Redemption team have years of industry experience, and they come from places including Sega, Sony, NCSoft.
I first started creating games right when Xbox 360 came out.
Activision, GameLoft.
We know how 3D content pipelines work. We know how to do physical simulations, 3D game AI, blended animations, motion capture.
Disney, BioWare.
We have the passion, the will, and the know-how.
For a lot of us, the reason we got into game development is because we grew up playing games, whether it was Atari, NES,
I grew up playing original Nintendo games.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System,
Counter-Strike and Team Fortress.
Ultima Online.
Grand Theft Auto.
You can play for hours or days on end at a LAN party.
A lot of old school games are just, they're hard.
You get a much greater feeling of satisfaction when you finally beat that level.
We want to bring that back with Road Redemption.
We're creating a deep gameplay experience, something that's challenging and really rewards a player for building his own skill.
More than likely, the first thing that's going to happen to you when you get on a bike is you're going to get your head smashed in with a pipe.
Shooting a rider with a rifle when you're going 100 miles per hour through traffic isn't an easy thing to do, and we're not going to cheat to make it any easier.
Once you have some practice under your belt, you'll look like a motorcycle riding ninja.
It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun.
Getting the fans involved at an early stage of development is an opportunity you don't often get as a developer.
If you make a suggestion, we put it in the game, we'll give you credit, whether you back us or not.
Shortly after Road Redemption launches, we'll be releasing our source code, art assets, and project files.
People who may not have made a game before, never made a racing game, can take our game, look at how we've done it, expand upon it, mod it, and make something their own.
You can use our assets and project files in creation of your own similar game or your own very different game.
The reason we're going with Kickstarter as an indie developer is it gives us the opportunity to really target hardcore gamers.
With the resources we currently have from private investors, we can't really make the Road Redemption game that we really want.
Will this game do well in the open market? We don't know.
Publishers would never let us make a game like this.
But with your backing, we'll be able to make Road Redemption the game that we want to play.
I think there's something really special about being an indie game developer. You're able to do something and work on something you love. So you work a lot of hours, but it doesn't always feel like work. I think that's a really special thing, and anytime you have an opportunity to work on something you love, you can put everything you've got into it and really enjoy it. And I think that reflects on the quality of the product and the experience that the players will have playing it.
There you go. So that's Road Redemption. Now a couple of things that we want to point out here is that one of the things that I personally don't like with a lot of game developers is they always feel that in order to sell a game, they have to go the violent route, you know, and that's just not true. To me, a game is good when it's fun to play. You know, it's not about the violence of the game. It's about whether the game it can capture you. Now, a game like this where they say that you start off with a biker gang and you're trying to work to get drug routes and stuff like that. See, to me, that kills it. That kills it for a game for me, because why would I want to play a game to where I'm trying to get established drug routes? I mean, why would I want to do that? Why even have that in a game? You know, because my point is a game has to be fun. The storyline needs to be something that's uplifting to where you want to play it. You know, it's not all about just what you're doing. So in there, I'm going to be fighting my way up the ranks of a biker gang so that I can control drug routes. I mean, see, this was not something that was a part of the original Road Rash. It was just about, you know, racing, you being a single biker, you come in and you're racing against these other bikers, and, you know, you might have to fight your way to the finish line. But I mean, the storyline of the drug stuff, nah, man, you know, that to me, that just kills a game. When they feel that you have to be like Grand Theft Auto, the mechanics of Grand Theft Auto was brilliantly designed as far as the ability to take any car, any vehicle, the ability to move around and interact with the world around you was a cool concept. But the mere fact that my whole job was to get higher in the ranks of crime syndicates, to me just didn't make any sense. And that's why I never played Grand Theft Auto, because the premise was just not anything that made sense to me. And when I say make sense, not make sense in a way that I don't understand it. I understand it. It's just that there's no point to such a game. So that's the one thing that in the gaming industry that I feel is a real negative, where they take good game mechanics, they take good game concepts, and they feel that, you know, the only way to really exploit them is to put them out into the violent world, and that's just that doesn't make any sense to me. But this Road Rash Redemption game, I mean, graphic wise, it looks decent. It doesn't look great. It looks decent. I've seen better graphics already. However, the thing that does impress me about Road Redemption, I'm calling it Road Rash, is that it's made by indie developers, and this is the type, now, not necessarily this, but this is the type of innovation you're going to see from the indie world. If this was going to be made on 360 or whatnot, right away they would say no, because they don't feel there's a market for it. And that's what is stifling the gaming industry right now. What's stifling the gaming industry right now is the fact that there is no creativity in games. Just look at Ubisoft, just what we're talking about. They're coming out with an Assassin's Creed every year. Assassin's Creed, and then they bust out a Rayman and stuff like that. No new innovation. Instead of trying to come up with an Assassin's Creed every year, put some of your game developers on unique titles. But see, the thing is, they don't want to spend millions of dollars on a title that doesn't sell. You see, and that's where they start sticking with these Assassin's Creed, you know, revamped over and over and over. But in the indie world, which is where consoles like the Ouya and Gaming Stick come in, those are going to be where you see the original title and more creative titles. So this is a Kickstarter project, as we said. This is a Kickstarter project. So you gotta wait and see how the funding is for this project. And just wait and see. I mean, I like the creativity that the indie game market brings, the creativity of the indie game market. But I still don't believe that you need to really be, everything has to have that level. Because any game you play, there's some level of violence in it. When you look at Pac-Man, you're eating ghosts. You know what I'm saying? There's some level. It's just, you don't necessarily need it to be so dramatic, you know what I'm saying, in order for it to be a good game, I feel. So we're going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to just pass judgment on it. I want to see a final copy of the game, because a lot of times, games like this, they look like this now, but when they come closer to release, they change a few things and whatnot. So we got to wait and see how this game is and if they do get the $60,000 they need. So I'm not going to pass judgment on it yet just with this trailer. I have to wait and see the full completion of the game before I can really pass judgment on it and really say, oh yeah, this game is something that's either yay, or nay. Now, let's get into one more story before we take a break, and that is a study that came out, and it's still in the gaming world. A study that came out about games being always on. A study came out and said that 72% of U.S. gamers now play games online. 72%. And so they, according to game industry professionals, they're saying that gives more credence to the always-on, advancement that companies like Microsoft are trying to do. Now, the number of people who play video games without an online connection is quickly dwindling. I mean, the old school gamers where, we buy a game and then you could play it solitary and whatnot. You don't have to play with a friend or whatnot, and the only online, quote unquote, back in the days was co-op mode where a friend came over, you went over to them and you played co-op. Now, the number of people that only play offline, you don't play any online games, is quickly dwindling according to results of a study that was released. A report by the NPD research firm found that 72% of US gamers play games online, and up to 5 percentage points, that's up 5 percentage points from last year. Now, that's not a big surprise, but the general trend could be positive if that's the case for Microsoft, that rumors that they will have an always-on console. Now, we do know with the new Xbox that their console is going to require an online connection for the Xbox to work. So you can't just plug it in and then the UI comes up on the screen, you pop in a disc and boom, you're off playing. According to reports, the new, and we'll learn more about that the 21st of this month, but the new Xbox is going to require you to have an internet connection in order for you to play. Now, my problem with that, that even though the survey shows that 72% of people, US gamers, play games online as well, not online only, but online as well. The problem I have with these always on is that I like to have choices. You see, I mean, I don't want to always have to play my games online. Sometimes you want to practice. Sometimes you just want to play by yourself. You don't want to play as a competition all the time. Sometimes you just want to play, with no pressure, and if games go the route where your opponents are always going to be online based opponents, then I don't know if that's really a good route to take. I mean, online is a natural progression because you get to play with your friends and stuff like that, and play with, just random people in the world. That's fine. But there still comes a time where, just like anything, nobody wants to be in a party, all their life. Sometimes you just want to be alone. Sometimes you want to go home and just relax and enjoy a meal. You don't always want to have friends over every day, you see? And so that's what I hope the game developers and game companies don't lose sight of. Yes, you look at these statistics, but at the same time, understand that there are games that we gamers like to play by ourselves. We like to have that practice time, that time where we can hone our skills without having to play with everyone else around us. Or I just want to play, by myself today. As far as I just want to play a game, no big deal. Or what if the internet goes out, at my house or in my area or whatnot? You can't play anything. So, I mean, all of these things, game companies have to realize, and with Xbox coming with this always-on situation, and then again, as we said on Tech Pulse, there's the power consumption issue that they have to really deal with. I mean, it's really gonna be interesting for me to see if Microsoft, PS4, Sony, and a lot of these other game companies, if they really have what it takes to bridge the gap between the always on in terms of the internet gameplay versus the gamer that wants to play games not on online all the time, but wants to sometimes play games offline. Now, some other interesting highlights from the survey. They say that the number of U.S. gamers who use a PC for online gaming has declined by 4%. Now, as you know, PC gamers are they're a hardcore group, you know, and because you have two types of gamers. You have PC gamers and you have console gamers, and then I guess you have those that do both. They play games on PC and console, you know, and PC gamers repeatedly believe that the best games are played with a mouse and a keyboard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm a console gamer myself. You know, I like PC games, but I'm primarily a console gamer. And so I believe that you can be just as accurate with the controllers that they make for these games. Now, you have a little bit more control on the PC only because you have so much more buttons that you can program to do whatever you need it to do. And a controller, after a while, will get confusing with the multi-level of buttons that they have, you know. But I think that the controllers have made good use of the button set that they do have. And I think you can still get really accurate, obviously, on a being a console gamer. Now, they also said that that's still enough to make the PC the most popular platform still, because the 4 percentage points that it declined over the past year, it dropped to 68%. You see, it was at 72 and it dropped to 68, but that still makes them the highest. 68% of gamers play games on PCs. Obviously, 68% out of 100, you still have, what, 32% left? So that 32% would be the rest of the gaming world. Now, the number of respondents who said they use mobile devices for online gaming rose 12% to this over the same year period. So you see, mobile gaming is on the rise. PC gaming is on a slight decline. You know, but console gaming, if companies like Nintendo are going to come out with stuff like the Wii U without supporting it, console gaming is going to decline as well. Gaming isn't going to decline. Gaming is a $44 billion a year industry. So it's not going to decline anytime soon. Just how people are playing these games is what's declining and what's rising and falling, depending on what's being what's being touted. All right, so we're about to take a break, but coming up on Tech Pulse, we're going to talk about Yahoo. They picked up MileWise. There's a new 30-pin iPhone speaker dock that allows you to keep your iPhone instead of having to dock it. Their smart TV is twice as popular as dedicated streaming boxes, really? And T-Mobile has TV now available for the iPhone. All of this, all of that and more. Oh, and also a new app has been released that will allow people wearing Google Glass to instantly upload images to YouTube. All of this and more coming up on Tech Pulse. Now let's go ahead and take that break that we're talking about, and we're going to take a break and talk about one of the events that we have coming up soon in June 6th, and that is an event put on by Unique Creation by Liz. Unique Creations by Liz is an event planning organization. If you have anything from weddings to graduations, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, anything that you have, any kind of event, a convention, you know, a men's convention, women's convention, you know, whatever you have going on, Unique Creations by Liz. These are just some of the events that she has put on and decorated, as you can see, very luxurious, very elegant style. They're able to do big, small, and they're putting on an event called Expressions Caribbean American Exhibition. This is the 4th annual multicultural showcase happening June 6th, Thursday, 2013, between 5 and 9 p.m. Between 4 and 5, that will be networking for business owners. You can promote your products and services at this event. So if you have a desire to be there, it's going. You can call the number and speak to Liz, 954 292-6848 and 954-435-4717. Speak to Liz about getting a table at this event, and you can also put a advertisement in the Caribbean American magazine, you know, to get more exposure to your product or your service that you're offering. And there's going to be networking between 4 and 5, and then the showcase opens up at 5 to the general public. There's going to be a reggae band, a soca band. There's going to be saxophone players, violin players. There's going to be great music, obviously. You're going to be able to win weekend getaways at Renaissance Hotel, several dinners for 2 being given away, baskets with Caribbean products being given away, gift certificates, raffles, other giveaways, fantastic show offers. There's going to be great food. Admission is free. Parking is free. I mean, this thing is just going to be off the hook. So if you want an evening of fun and culture and excitement, woo, you can't miss the Expressions Caribbean American Exhibition. I'm telling you, man, this thing is going down June 6th. The place is the Inverary Vacation Resorts, 3501 Inverary Boulevard, Lauderhill, Florida, 33319. That's where it's going to go down, I'm telling you, between 5 and 9 p.m. Come and have a good time. And if you yourself want to be a part, you want to be a business, a part of this, just call Liz or visit the website of Unique Creations. You can visit it at uniquecreationsbyliz.com. That's uniquecreationsbyliz.com. And we want to thank Unique Creations by Liz for their support of Tech Pulse. And we're going to see you there, June 6th. So we want to thank them for their support of Tech Pulse. All right. Let's get back into the news right here. The news for the day in the tech world. All right. We're talking T-Mobile now has available for iPhone TV. That's right. I mean, T-Mobile has TV. Now, we've been talking about this cord cutter movement that's been going on for a long time now. And for those of you that have been watching Tech Pulse, you know that the cord cutter mentality is alive and well right here on Tech Pulse. I mean, we have purchased a Rabbit TV just so we can test it out and let you, the viewers, know what's going on. Matter of fact, as I bring up this next story, Devin, why don't you give the folks a little update on your, I know you probably just used it briefly, but what's your thoughts on Rabbit TV as far as the cord cutter mentality? Now, let me ask you this. For someone who doesn't really watch cable, they don't really want to have a cable bill, they're fine with over-the-air, but they're looking for something to supplement their over-the-air broadcast. They really don't watch a lot of cable, or they want to just watch what they want when they want, and they don't want to pay a big bill for cable, so they're fine getting over-the-air. How does Rabbit TV stack up in terms of as an addition to someone who just has over-the-air already and able to watch content when they want, where they want? You play around with this thing for a little bit now. What can you tell the viewers out there about this system?
I'm cutting all cords. No, the thing is really cool. There are limitations.
Right,
it's not going to be, meeting everyone's need or requirement.
Right.
But in terms of, it will keep you busy. If you're a TV watching person, it will keep you busy. There's enough data, content. I mean, that will keep you busy. And
if you're someone who doesn't really want cable,
worst. And even if you're someone that that watches less, this is perfect for you because you find what you need when you need.
Right.
And it's really cool. I was really, really surprised.
Yeah.
Really surprised.
So there you go. So
I'm opening a franchise to sell the.
So we see that Rabbit TV, and this is all a part of that cord cutter mentality. Now T-Mobile, they are now coming out with TV available. Now it's only for the iPhone right now, but according to reports by Techno Buffalo, they said T-Mobile's streaming TV application is now available. The streaming TV application is now available for iPhone 4, iPhone 4S, and iPhone 5, and obviously the iPhone 5S that is rumored to come out later this year. But iPhone 4 and up, basically, providing the phone runs iOS 6 or newer. The carrier typically offers the service on its other handsets, such as Android devices, but until now it hasn't been available for the iPhone. So now, if you are an iPhone individual, you've been looking for something like this on your iPhone, T-Mobile TV Prime is ready for you. Now the cost is $12.99 for 30 days, and it provides on-demand content as well as live coverage from networks such as ESPN Mobile TV, NBC Sports, CBS Sports, Disney, Nickelodeon, Discovery, Animal Planet, ABC News, Now, and Bloomberg. I think Fox News is in there, Fox Business, regular ABC, regular Fox, NBC, and ABC Family. Also, you're going to get programs from MTV, Spike TV, Comedy Central, the E! Network, and VH1. These are just some of the channels, and I mean, that's a lot right there, but these are just some of the channels that T-Mobile TV is offering. And a Spanish version is also available for $10 a month. But it offers fewer channels. They're really, right now, they're focusing on the English speaking market, but the Spanish is there, and more channels obviously is going to be added, but for right now it's fewer channels. And there's also a kid-friendly model for $5.99 a month, a life and style package for $7.99 a month, and what they're calling an urban package for $5.99 a month, and a movie selection package for $6.99 a month. So they have all these different tiers, or you could just get the whole thing, the Prime, for $12.99 only for 30 days though. That's their promotion. I don't know what it's going to be. They haven't released what it's going to be after that. But we're looking at T-Mobile TV comes with that free 30-day trial. However, you can get it and give it a whirl before you decide to snap on that monthly fee. So $12.99 for 30 days, and we're gonna see if that's a promotional or is that the actual cost of it. And they do have a 30-day free trial. So that leads me to believe that the $12.99 is the monthly fee for everything. But if you just want certain things, like you just want the kids friendly for your children, or the urban package, or the life and style package, or you're just a movie buff, the kids friendly and the urban package will cost you $5.99. The movie package $6.99, and the life and style package will cost you $7.99, or the whole thing, from what I'm seeing, is $12.99. Now, T-Mobile getting into the online TV streaming business, is this a good idea? Well, you see, you have to be, many businesses realize that they cannot be static. In other words, they cannot just offer one thing. They have to be able to offer a myriad of options for consumers. You see, so I think this is what T-Mobile is doing. They've recognized that people want to watch content on the go. They've recognized that. People want to watch TV when they want to, where they want to, and stuff like that. And that is what Rabbit TV attempts to do. Give you the ability to watch your program, because you can carry that USB plug wherever you want to go. And for someone who doesn't, like I say, watch a lot of TV, or doesn't want cable, or someone who just wants additional content that they can watch when they want, where they want, this thing is perfect, man. This is perfect. And T-Mobile understands that this is the generation that we live in. We live in a generation where people want their content with them wherever they go. They don't, we have the DVRs still, yes. We have the ability to record and come home and watch later, but many people are away from their homes more than they are in their homes. And so to be able to watch your content on the go, or while you're on the bus, there are a lot of people who have a greater than a 45-minute commute from their homes to work, and a lot of it sometimes is spent stuck in traffic. A lot of it sometimes is spent just sitting on the road in traffic, moving, 5 miles every 10 minutes. Every 15 minutes they move a mile or two. You see, and so for them, they're like, if I could get something that I can, can keep me company on the road, not while they're driving, 50 miles an hour, but for people that are stuck in traffic, saying for a long period of time and they're looking for something, T-Mobile understands people. They go to the doctor's office, they go to, hey, their children's recital or play or whatnot, and many of them, hey, they're not interested in the play. That's why they sit in the back. And they want something that'll keep them company while they have to go through all these different events or things in their lives that require them to sit and wait. And so this app, which was already available for Android, mind you, it was already available for Android. This app that's now available for iOS, is a good app that I think that shows where people are headed, and T-Mobile, in my opinion, is wise to adopt this app into the iPhone market, because it's already on Android, and to adopt it into the iPhone market and to come up with this app, period, I think is really where people are going with their entertainment. You see, and so I can only hope to see things like this, more and more as we go on. Now, speaking of entertainment on the go, a report came out that smart TVs, are twice as popular as dedicated streaming boxes. Now, when we talk about dedicated streaming boxes, we're talking about the Apple TVs, we're talking about the Rokus, we're talking about the Sony internet streamers, the Netgears and other streaming boxes, like RCA has a streaming box out there. They're saying that smart TVs are twice as popular as these streaming devices. They said 14% of all broadband households own an Apple TV, a Roku box, or another kind of dedicated streaming device in 2012, 14%. While 25% owned a smart TV with an embedded ad platform, according to the Diffusion Group's latest defining the in-home CE and network ecosystem of 2013 report that they come out with. The ownership of smart TVs has roughly doubled over the last year, with 25% of broadband households owning at least one smart TV compared to only 12% in 2011. And dedicated streaming devices, on the other hand, they've grown slower. They grew slower, inching up from 12% in 2011 to 14% in 2012. Now, even though one should note that owning a device isn't the same as using it. Only 69% of smart TVs are connected to the internet. So only 69%. Now that's still a lot, but not everyone who owns a smart TV actually connected to the internet, according to the report. Whereas one should assume that most streaming devices, except the ones that maybe nobody cared about or whatnot, most streaming devices would be connected to the internet, because then why else would you have bought a streaming device? The most popular device for internet video still remains game consoles. Most people who are connecting to the internet in the streaming world, when you talk about streaming devices like a Roku, Apple TV, Xbox, 62% of broadband households now owning a next-gen console, such as a PS3 and a 360, 62% of households own one. And most of those are connected to the internet because, of gameplay and the other things like, Netflix and Hulu Plus that they offer. And almost a fourth of time spent with these consoles, they're saying, is spent online video viewing. That's what the research says. And so altogether, 56% of broadband households have at least one TV connected to the internet, whether it's a smart TV or through a streaming device. Now, when we look at reports like this, here's what we have to remember. We have to remember that smart TVs are dominating the marketplace now. In other words, when you go to a Best Buy, when you go to a Tiger Direct, or when you go to a Walmart or any of those other stores that sell flat screen, high definition TVs, automatically, most of their TVs are smart TVs. In other words, TVs that have apps built into it. So don't look at the report and say, well, twice as much, the streaming boxes aren't doing well. No, because it's like saying most of the most of the media devices that sold, in terms of media, portable media devices that people sell for their homes, like media players, most of them are DVDs. And then, when you look into the store, all you have is DVDs. So most of them are going to be DVDs, or like right now, Blu-ray has really gone up. So most households are going to have Blu-ray players because that's more dominant in the market. And Blu-ray players also plays DVDs and upscales them. So my point is, most of the TVs out there are smart TVs. You're not going to find many TVs that's just a TV anymore. They do have them, yes. But most of the TVs that people are buying are smart TVs. So naturally, you're going to have more smart TVs in homes, just because when someone goes to buy a TV, it's going to be a smart one. You see? However, most people, I guarantee you, don't use the apps on their TV, and I'll tell you why. Because TV streaming, when you stream on a TV, it is extremely slow. It is extremely slow. A lot of times the TV, the app crashes, on the TV, and it's just a mess. Using those streaming TVs, the smart TVs, don't work as well as the dedicated streaming boxes. So even though streaming boxes may have, as they say, inched up from 12% to 14%, don't look at that as your determining factor as to whether streaming devices are actually doing well. Streaming devices are doing well because smart TVs really don't operate as fluently, as well as if you had a dedicated box for your smart TV content. So even though this is what they're saying, that smart TVs have twice as popular, I look at it as they may be twice as popular by statistics, but they're not twice as used as the streaming boxes that are bought. I don't know the statistic on it 100%, but I would go as far to say that almost all of the streaming boxes that are bought, like the Roku, like the Apple TV, almost 100% of them are used. Because you know what you're getting when you buy that, so almost 100% of those are going to be used. The problem is that with smart TVs, the processors inside the TVs, the chips that they use, and the memory that the TV has is so small that it takes forever to bring up certain apps. And even if the apps come up, then when you're trying to launch something on Netflix, it takes a while. You see that circle spinning for a while because the processor and the memory is so low, much less trying to stream movies through your the apps that's embedded on the TV. A lot of times that's just a mess. So I wouldn't even look at that story and say that it's true in terms of just a numbers sense, and it's true by default. You see, it's like if you go to an all-boys school and say that the number of men there outnumber the number of women. Well, of course, because it's an all-boys school. So obviously, the amount of men are going to outnumber the women if there's any at all. Obviously that the clientele is going to be more. So if when you go to a store, if you're going to a store and all they have is smart TVs, then obviously smart TVs are going to dominate the homes. But that doesn't mean that the Roku and because I own a Roku box, and I mean that thing is phenomenal. It makes, and the thing is, it's cheaper to get that than to get a smart TV. You can get a regular TV, saying for $5.99, and then buy a Roku box for $99, and boom, your TV is smart right there. Hook that bad boy in, your TV is ready to go. You get something like the Sony internet streamer that works with your cable box to where you can surf the web as you're watching TV. And when I say as, I mean you can put the TV up in the corner and you can surf the web as you're watching TV. I mean, these are things that makes your TV smart without your TV being smart. You see, so I'm going to say that it's an interesting statistic, but it's not very accurate as to the true numbers that we're talking about. Now, if you have an iPhone, a 30-pin connector iPhone, and a lot of times we buy these iPod docks. Yeah, we buy the iPod docks, and you dock your iPod to the stereo, and then you have to punch the music in, and you have to go about your business. Well, what if there was something that would dock to the player? Like let's say you have a stereo at home, And you have the iPod dock in the stereo. You put your iPod in, and you press play on whatever it is, whether you're streaming music off the internet or whether you have a playlist on your iPod or whatever. Press play, you go about your business, right? But what if you don't want to listen to a particular set of songs in that playlist and you're washing dishes? And you're like, oh man, I don't want to, but you don't have no choice because you're washing dishes, so you got to listen to it. Or what if you wanted to repeat a song real quick? Man, that song was just jamming and you wanted to repeat it, but you're washing dishes, you don't want to have to dry your hands off and go all the way over to the stereo and whatnot. Well, the Pile PBTR70 turns the 30-pin iPhone speaker dock into a wireless music device. That's right, and we're going to show you a picture of this device right here. Now, the Pile has announced an interesting a Bluetooth receiver. I don't know why they couldn't come up with a better name than this, but they call it the PBT-R70. The interesting thing about this Bluetooth receiver is that it's designed specifically for use with the 30-pin Apple speaker docks. Rather than the docking on the iPhone, using the iPhone or iPad, rather than using them to dock with the speaker, you plug in this Bluetooth receiver and it turns the speaker dock into a wireless music streaming speaker with no additional hardware. So you can keep your iPhone or iPad with you, plug this thing into the dock of the stereo or whatever, and you carry your iPhone with you. You want to change songs? You have your iPhone right there, not docked to the machine.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Who came up with that?
The company is called Pile. P-Y-L-E.
I'm glad it's not Apple. You know my sentiments.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't let anybody else be able to use that.
Right.
I guarantee you this company will let it be
for
available
Android as well.
to others.
Right.
That's perfect. Love it.
So the receiver, it gets power directly from the speaker dock and has a wireless range of up to 33 feet. Obviously, if you have a big property, you can't because you have to be able to hear the music. So their thought behind it was you really didn't need a distance greater than 33 feet because you need to be able to hear the music. The music can't be in your bedroom and you're outside mowing the lawn because you're not going to hear the music. You see what I'm saying? So they had it within range of you being able to hear it. So imagine the adapter allows you able to stream music via any Bluetooth device, including Android. You see? So right away, Devin, you're saying that they're going to release it to other people. I just had to reveal it right there that this device isn't just for Apple. They allow it to be used with Android. So but you connect it to a 30-pin, those docks that's made for the iPad. Fine. It can be made for the iPad. This will connect to it, but allow you to use Android devices.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Android devices, or like tablets or whatever can connect.
In your face, Apple.
So whether you have an Android smartphone, iPhone obviously, if you have even a BlackBerry, you have any kind of console that allows you to connect something wirelessly. Most devices, or you'll see in the stores when you go in the stores, it'll have a dock, like speakers with a dock on it, and it'll say for iPhone, iPad, all the devices. It doesn't necessarily say Android compatible. So if you like that design or you like it, you can buy it because I don't have an Android, right? I don't have an Apple. I have an Android phone, so I can't dock to that machine. Not anymore. This device will allow you to buy that speaker that has iPhone dock on it, a 30-pin iPhone dock. It will connect to it, and you can now stream any Bluetooth enabled device and stream your music, whether it's Android or whatnot. We're going to show you this thing, and the best part about it, the streaming device also has a 3.5 millimeter input to allow music playback from devices that don't have Bluetooth built in. So even if you don't have Bluetooth built in, it has a jack that you can hook directly up to it, so you can still get your Android device. The 3.5 millimeter headphone jack that comes, every phone got it. You just plug that bad boy in and boom.
I love the show. I love the show because we get information like this that you won't find anywhere else.
You're not gonna find this information in the store. All you have to do now is The PBT R70 is available directly from Pile Audio. This is not in Best Buy. Directly from Pile Audio. So just go to their website, and the best spot, $67. That's it. $67 for this device. Matter of fact, let me just show you you might say this doesn't look like much, but the technology in this thing is huge. Technology in this thing is huge, man. Let me show you a picture of this thing right here. This is what it is right here. This is the Pile audio system, Bluetooth. Boom. That's it right there. That thing connects to iPod docks. So anything that says iPod dock on it, you know, anything that has an iPod dock, whether it be like a speaker or you know, you go into any store, you look at a speaker system or radio system, and it has iPod dock in it, you know what I'm saying? But it says iPod, iPad, you know, stuff like that. You go, oh man, no Android. You know, not anymore. You get this device, this plugs into the dock. And if your Android device is Bluetooth capable, you just stream wirelessly your playlist, your music to this device, and obviously it will play over the speakers. And if you don't have Bluetooth, you just hook in from your headphone jack, a jack to this device, and boom. The only problem is you won't be able to carry it with you, but you can connect to an iPhone only dock. Instead of having to get something else. So this is a top-notch piece of equipment that's available on the website of Pile Audio, P-Y-L-E, for $66.99. So obviously that means $67 plus shipping and all of that stuff. So I mean, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. This is the type of stuff that you get here on Tech Pulse. Now here's another, you might be wondering, now what do you buy the man that has everything, or you know, someone that you're looking at and you're saying, man, this guy, you know, this guy has it all, you know, and I want something unique. I want something that is going to you know, stand out. Not everybody has this type of thing. Well, if you have someone that likes watches, now I know we've been talking about smart watches coming up and all of that, but if you want to give someone, well, not just someone, you want to give the man in your life a special type of watch, something unique, something that when people look at it, they're going to go, whoa, what is this thing, man? This thing looks like, you know, the inside of a grinder or something like that. Well, the Opus 13 watch by Harry Winston. This thing looks, I mean, this thing looks cool. I'm going to show it to you right now. Harry Winston now. And that's what I'm saying. If you're looking for something unique, you know, because you're not going to see this watch everywhere. Matter of fact, you go to watch stores right now, you probably won't see it. You're looking for something unique. The Opus 13 watch, which has a series of 59 moving ticks to represent the minutes, and has been created by an American watchmaker known as Harry Winston. The Opus 13 watch is fitted with the HW4-101 movement, and it's fitted with a rhodium-plated hands, including the triangular-shaped hour hands. We have a video that's going to show you how this watch, you know, how this watch works, how it moves. Now, according to the people at Opus, they said the Opus 13 once again defies the conventional rules of watchmaking. 59 pivoting minute hands, 11 rotating triangles for the hours, and a sliding trapdoor perform a magic show where minutes and hours appear, according to them, to vanish instantly. And of course, you know, you can tell time with this thing again. So let me just show you a picture of it, and then we're going to show you a video of how this bad boy actually works. So if you're looking for a watch that's going to be unique, you know what I'm saying, and you want to give this to the man in your life, you know, so that, you know, when he goes to work in the office, people are like, man, look at that watch. You know, this thing is just incredible. Oh yeah, this is the watch you need. Like Devin was saying, you're gonna see stuff like this here on Tech Pulse. You can't go into Best Buy and see this type of movement. Now look at this right here. Right away when you look at it, you're like, man, I don't know if I can tell time on this thing. Look at it. Boom. Now that is unique. Look at the face of that watch. You don't see, you know, 1, 2, 3. You don't see all of that. I mean, look at the dials. The triangles are there for the hour. The other things are there for the second. Matter of fact, let me just show you the video of how they're saying this thing works.
Does this have to be for someone, like a spouse?
I just said that. But
yeah,
you can give it
because
to
you
anyone.
could like give that to me. You could come up with something like that.
Right. It don't have to be a spouse giving. You know what I'm saying? Right.
That could be someone important to you.
Right, exactly.
Just give it away.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I'll take one. No hints.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Just...
Here's the movement. This is how they say this thing works. Because to me, I look at that and I say, I don't know how I would tell time. So this video is supposed to be able to show us what's going on. Final checks, sound. All right, we're good. Harry Winston. Let's check out his new creation. Woo! Those are the seconds. Those are the hours. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now that watch is a beautiful timepiece right there, man. That's the type of timepiece that's going to turn heads in the office or wherever you're going. That timepiece is going to turn heads, man. I mean, right there you saw how the seconds, those are, let me just put this back up just for those that might have said, well, I still don't get it. I still don't get how this thing works. Let me just show you real quick based on that presentation. What's what, you know. Now right here you see these red right here, this outer circle right here, these are the seconds. So they're going to be moving up and down, you know, to show the seconds. These triangles in here are the hour hands, you know. Now obviously it comes with instructions to really let you know how to fully integrate it, but these things move. These are individual little clicks. This is not digital stuff with like if the battery runs out, this disappears. These are not digital stuff. These are actual movements, as you saw, going around the dial showing you the seconds. So this thing is unique. You know, I mean, when someone looks at it and they can't tell the time, but you have it and you can tell the time on this bad boy, I'm telling you, man, if you want to impress, you know, someone, or you just want something cool. I mean, a lot of times, you know, there's not a lot of advancements that have been made in the watch industry, you know, since digital watches came out that really was like, oh man, analog now digital. This is something that's truly the next step when it comes to watches. So the collection from Harry Wilson, if you're looking for something special, the Opus 13, man, this thing is definitely needs to be on your radar. You looking for something cool? Looking for something new and exciting? This right here, man, This needs to be on your radar. All right, so before we take a break, we're going to take another quick break. And one of the stories we're going to come back with is Apple and Samsung return to court. Yeah, you know, we're going to talk more about that, about Apple. We also have a mirror case, a horizontal mirror case for the iPad that hits Kickstarter. If you want to back another Kickstarter project. And BlackBerry CEO, they reveal the future, you know, of tablets. You know, all right here on Tech Pulse. But until then, let's go ahead and talk about something that I know we all need to do more, and that's eat better. That's live better. That's be better in terms of our lives as far as what we consume and put on our bodies and stuff like that. I mean, you know, down here in South Florida, we're not called the Sunshine State for nothing. We're called the Sunshine State because there's sun most of the year. And, you know, with that, you know, a lot of us have to wear sunblock. You know, but a lot of these, remember, anything that you put on your body is absorbed by your body. So if you use suntan lotions and sunscreens that have a bunch of chemicals in them, your body is going to absorb that. Why go through that? If you want 100% natural, 100% pure, organically grown, organically made products, you need look no further than ultimateorganics.net. Over 11,000 products, from baby food to household items. You don't want your children around cleaning products? They have organic cleaning products. They have organic air fresheners. You know, no more chemicalized air fresheners in your house. They also have things for your pet. They have things, snacks, condiments, food, flour, cereals, nutrition bars, protein drinks, natural energy drinks. I mean, teas, herbal teas, you know, of all kinds. If you're looking to improve your eating this year, you're looking to start to eat better, but you don't know where to go. You want to be able to buy in bulk as well as singles. Try ultimateorganics.net. They have what you need in the organic world, and we would like to thank them for their support of Tech Pulse. All right, we're back, and we're about to hit that story that we told you about, where Apple and Samsung will be returning to court. Yeah, that's right. Apple and Samsung are going to return to court. Now, for those of you that don't know, Apple and Samsung had a little bit of a, and this is why when the design of the Galaxy S4 was kind of criticized. This is probably what, in my opinion, caused Samsung to kind of play it safe on the design. Samsung went, was taken to court by Apple because originally they, according to Apple, Samsung stole some of its patents as far as iPhone design was is concerned. So they went to court. Samsung tried to say, no, that's just how we designed our phone. It happened to look similar to yours. Apple is saying that Samsung stole so many of their patents and used it in the Samsung Galaxy S design. Now, this was bound to happen, seeing that the Galaxy S was a success and Apple's main competitor. Well, Samsung lost the case, and the courts ordered Samsung to pay Apple $1 billion for damages. Now, you know, Samsung is a big company, so $1 billion isn't too bad. But then this was reduced down by $450 million to $650 million back in March. $450 million was removed from the original damages related to 14 Samsung devices that Apple said was in violation. Now, the new trial will deal with the $450 million in damages that were removed in March, and a new figure set by the court could either be reduced or increased depending on what the courts decide. So we're going to have to wait and see we're gonna have to wait and see how this thing plays out. But the very fact that Samsung was hit by the courts in a patent suit against Apple shows that Apple, I wouldn't say that Apple wouldn't have sued if Samsung, the Galaxy S, wasn't as successful. I don't know if Apple would have sued. Maybe Apple wouldn't have worried about it because if it's not selling. But Apple is the type of company that likes to keep their patents secure and whatnot. But I mean, the very notion that the Galaxy S3 was such a success, and matter of fact, if many of you remember, some of these phones were taken off the market. You know what I'm saying? Some of the Samsung Galaxy S series was taken off the market because of this patent infringing suit. And if you had already bought one, then you already bought it. But it was taken off the market for sale a year or so ago. And the mere fact that Samsung has actually overtaken Apple in the market share as far as smartphones go really doesn't surprise me now that Apple is really looking to get something from Samsung in the way of damages as far as their patent. And the courts sided with Apple and said that Samsung did steal some of its patents. So the two companies are set to go back at it. This year. They're saying they will return to court in November between the 14th and the 18th, and to deal with that $450 million discretionary fund that Apple said is still really owed them, because they're still smarting at the fact that Samsung, the Galaxy S series, is obviously more popular than their iPhone. Now they do have the iPhone 5S coming out. We know that already. But the point is that Apple, they like to be the king of the king of the yard. They want to be the king of the yard, and if they can no longer be the king of the yard, then if they find in any way that Samsung has stolen their patents, which they did, and they took them to court and legally, they won. They won the suit. Samsung has to pay $650 million. Apple is saying, wait a minute now. That $350 million, we want every penny of that. So they're going to take them back to court and dispute it. That $350 million that was taken off of the original lawsuit, they're going to go back and dispute it. So we're going to see what happens as this, obviously as we learn more here on Tech Pulse, we're going to keep you up to date. If you're a Samsung lover and you're like, man, Samsung, that's the device for me right there. Hey, we're not saying that any future phones are in danger. But that's why I believe the Samsung Galaxy S4, even though it was criticized for the plastic back and they say the design wasn't anything big or different, I think that's why Samsung kind of went conservative this time on the design, because they're already in a lawsuit. They don't want to come out with something that's going to trigger any kind of thought process that they are doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So I think they're playing it safe right now. Now, when we talked about a story that we're going to be talking about now about BlackBerry. The CEO is revealing where he feels tablets are going. Now, BlackBerry did release a tablet sometime ago, and now the CEO of BlackBerry is talking about it. Not about the tablet that they released, but just the general future of tablets altogether. And the BlackBerry CEO, he really questions the future of tablets. Now, based on what he was saying, because remember the BlackBerry, what was the name of that tablet they came out with? I think it was the Playbook. Yeah. The Playbook, yeah, that was the tablet that BlackBerry came out with. And it wasn't really that successful, as far as, tablets go. It wasn't really that successful, and they really pulled the device after a while. But the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer for BlackBerry, his name is Thorsten Heinz. And we have a Heinz right here in the studio, and this guy is Thorsten Heinz. He said that in 5 years, and Devin, as a fellow Heinz, see if you agree with the statement of your brethren right there. He says in 5 years, he doesn't think there will be a reason to have a tablet anymore in 5 years. What do you think about that?
Well, we might call it something else. So maybe that's what he means. But he cannot be too close in bloodline if he's going to make a statement like that. I guarantee you it's spelled Hinds or maybe Heinz.
It's Heins.
Heins. See, I told you. Far removed. Not a close family member. No, I don't.
Not
agree.
even a distant cousin.
Not even a distant cousin. He's a perpetrator of the name. But no, I don't agree. I think we're a long way off from giving up the iPad. As a matter of fact,
Oh yeah.
I think if we look back in history, they used a manual pad.
Mm-hmm.
They used to use that little. They used to use tablets.
Right.
This is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's off track.
He says in 5 years, he says, I see BlackBerry being the absolute leader in mobile computing in 5 years. I mean, of course, he's a CEO. What else is he going to say? But I mean, how off base or on base you think he is with that statement? First, tablets.
I don't think
gone
we
in 5
should
years.
mention base at all. In this context, we should. He's just not even in the planet. I mean, he's somewhere else. That's ridiculous. Okay, I mean, I agree. You and I talked about the fact that we think BlackBerry. I said
Right, they're the underdog. We want them to succeed.
and we want them to
Yeah.
succeed. And I think BlackBerry is going to have. They didn't just appear overnight. They had a good strategy and everything like that. But I think they will find a way to come back.
Right.
But not
Absolute leader.
hello. I mean, where is this guy? We need to get him off whatever he's drinking.
And he says that he wants to gain back the market share that they have, but by not being a copycat.
But
He's
I
saying
think.
that, and we're not saying that BlackBerry cannot regain, some of their market share. But I mean, as a CEO, I know you have to be positive about your company, and you have to show that you have your mind where it needs to be. But in 5 years, BlackBerry to be the absolute leader in mobile computing, he said that's what they're aiming for in 5 years. He wants to gain as much market share as he can. Okay, that part is realistic. You want to gain every company wants to do that. Gain as much market share as they can by not being copycats. Fine. BlackBerry has always been innovative, especially in the Department of Security. But where I think that Thurston Hines is not realizing is that they have a lot more competition in the areas that they were dominant in than when they were out. Right now, the iPhone 5 is up for approval at the DoD, the Department of Defense. Samsung Galaxy S4 has already gained approval at the Department of Defense, as well as BlackBerry. But I'm saying before, it was only BlackBerry that had security approval at the DoD. Now you have Samsung Galaxy S, and we know the iPhone is going to be approved. Why? How do we know this? Because right here on Tech Pulse, we revealed a story that said that the FBI were trying to hack in on a conversation dealing with two criminals using Apple iDevices and couldn't. Because the encryption, even with a court order, they weren't able to break the encryption because, with the court order, Apple said, okay, go ahead. And they tried and couldn't. They had to go back to Apple. As a matter of fact, they said they were very frustrated that this encryption was so good that even they couldn't break it. So we know iPhone is going to be accepted, barring, Apple calls the government jerks or something like that. But other than that, it's going to be accepted. And BlackBerry doesn't have the market share that they used to have. Now, they can't look at tablets just because they failed in the tablet market. I think the playbook was introduced in I think around 2011 and was panned as critics for debuting without built-in email and stuff like that, delivering the tablet a near fatal blow, because a tablet is an on-the-go device, and if you don't have it equipped with stuff like email, then you're just going to be done. And the Ontario-based company, which is BlackBerry, they used to be called Ring, took a $485 million charge later that year to write down unsold inventory after only shipping, mind you, they only shipped 150,000 playbooks in the third quarter of 2012. In the third quarter of 2012, they only shipped 150. Now, shipped isn't sold. They shipped 150 playbooks in the third quarter. They had to take a loss of $485 million, you know what I'm saying, on their playbooks. Now, their playbook was clearly a failure. But just because their playbook was a failure doesn't mean tablets are a failure. So I really don't know what this guy is talking about when he says that he has to say that in 5 years, tablets are going to be gone. No, I don't think that in 5 years, tablets are, not in 5 years. Matter of fact, to me, tablets are going to increase. Because as tablets get more powerful, as companies like Qualcomm, Nvidia, and now Intel with their Haswell processors, as they are able to bring these processors to a point where they're powerful and they're energy efficient, you're going to look to see tablets grow. Because that's really the only limitation with tablets, is the fact that the processors aren't as strong as those in PCs, so they can't do as much. But if you can put in good processors, which also means being able to put in a good video card, you know what I'm saying, and sound card in there, embedded, right away, you're going to see tablets on the increase as far as people's home computers, as far as people's mobile computers. Tablets are going to be the thing that people, in my opinion, use, because, I mean, it just makes sense that, it just makes sense that people will gravitate towards tablets more in the future. Now, in one of our last stories, we're going to talk about something a little bit something a little bit different here. You know, let's talk about something that, you know, really quick is, again, one of these things that here on Tech Pulse we like to bring you things that you wouldn't normally see everywhere, things that you wouldn't normally get. Now, a lot of cars today, the newer cars coming out, they have what they call these rear cam. You know, you have the dashboard in the car, and then it has like a little camera in the trunk or right under the license plate or something, so you can see what's happening when you're backing up and stuff like that. However, if you don't have that, then you're out of luck, right? You can't do anything. Because, I mean, if your car didn't come with that installed, it's not like you can run and buy these things generally out like you could stereos and stuff like that. Well, no longer. Scepter has launched the new car cam. They're calling it CCR 2000. Now, typically, when we talk about Scepter, we're talking about new television or computer monitor or stuff like that, because that's what they're good at. But today, the company has announced the launch of a new dash cam system designed to gather evidence in the event of an accident while you're behind the wheel. The product is called CarCam CCR 2000. Oh yeah, and this thing, I mean, this thing is something that you can use for in the event of an accident or anything like that. The camera features a 120-degree wide-angle lens, providing a wide field of view and an integrated G sensor. The integrated G sensor allows the camera to detect a collision and automatically begin recording. So when the camera detects a collision, it automatically locks the video file to prevent accidental erasure or anything like that. Someone just, you know, try to get away with it. The camera stores video in full HD resolution to an included 8 GB SD card. Other hardware features include rechargeable lithium-ion battery. It's good for up to 50 minutes of recording, and a built-in microphone, and that is available on their website for around $400. Now let me show you this device right here, because normally, like I said, if you don't have one of those backup cams in your car, then that's it. You don't have a car cam, and the backup cams, you know, I mean, it can record if someone runs into you or what's going on in the back and stuff like that, but that's about it. And if you don't have that coming standard with your car, you don't have an in-car camera unless you jerry-rig something. But this right here is specifically made so if you, with that G sensor, it's able to detect movement. And so if your car is in a collision, now not the movement of you getting in your car or anything like that, but specifically to detect jolting. So the type of jolting that would happen if you get into an accident. If you get into an accident, the camera immediately starts recording, and it has 120 field view. Now 180 would be a complete turnaround. In other words, if you're facing north, 180 degrees would be now you're facing south. So 120 degrees, that's a pretty wide angle in either direction that this camera can get. So that's a pretty wide field of view that your camera can get. So that this camera can get. Let me just go ahead and show you. Sorry. Just go ahead and show you a picture of this camera right here. This is it right here. This is that bad boy. This is the CCR2000. This is a car cam that if you get into an accident with that G sensor, it allows you, has a SD card slot, allows you 8 gigabyte SD card slot, has lithium ion rechargeable battery. You can have it plugged in right into your car. You can charge this thing up. It's good for 50 minutes of continuous recording, which obviously, an accident shouldn't take that long. But if you get into a fender bender, you get into an accident, you have video recording of the accident. Who was at fault? Where he was, what was happening, pedestrians being there, whatever. This thing is going to record it and give you that peace of mind. So you don't have to worry about having a camera built into your car if you don't have it already. This right here for $400 is all you need to record what you need to record for. If you're going to take, and especially summer coming up, a lot of people hit the open road in the summer on vacations and whatnot. This is definitely something that you might want to consider on your travels. Well, here we are once again at the end of another Tech Pulse for Monday, May 6th, 2013. We thank you for joining us, and hey, we hope that you would join us again tomorrow for another, another exciting Tech Pulse. I mean, you just can't get better than the Tech Pulse that we have going on here, where you can learn all that you need to learn. You have items that you haven't even seen right here on Tech Pulse. Keep yourself up to date on all the news and reviews of the products and services that are out there in the tech world. I'm your host, Hartley Reginald Smith II, and we'd like to thank you for joining us. We're going to see you again next time. See you tomorrow. Peace!